Hey folks, and welcome back to the FPL Tips YouTube channel for yet another video. In this video, I'll be taking you through some of the burning questions, early burning questions ahead of game week 6. And there are quite a few questions, and after a lot of us had quite a poor game week 5, including me, I think there are quite a few questions that need to be addressed that become very important ahead of the next few game weeks. So let's directly get diving into it. Firstly, we have the question on the defenders and should we sell Chilwell, Estupinian, and double up on Newcastle defense. So what happened this game week was Ben Chilwell got benched against Bournemouth. I feel like it has been something that a lot of Chelsea fans would have liked to see because Ben Chilwell in the left wing role was not exactly the player he generally is from playing from left back, and he was not getting too involved in attack, and there was a problem from that point of view, but Colwell did play quite well as a left back. So the move did change where Mudryk came on to play as the left winger. Finally started ahead of Chilwell. Chilwell came on for the last 10 minutes, got a yellow card, and this pattern could follow. And in the next coming game weeks as well, Mudryk could easily get a start ahead of Chilwell. So unless the formation changes and Colwell goes to play centre back, I feel like Chilwell's position in the a team is not guaranteed. So that's one thing. And the other person who we didn't see this week was Estupinian, but I'd say not to be too worried about it. Deserbi did mention in the press conference subtly that Estupinian did travel a lot and we will be looking at other options. Um, the one the one worrying point is that Lamptey played well as a left back, but that doesn't take Estupinian's starting position. That could only mean that at any possible time of rotation, Estupinian could be rotated. But I think he'll be brought right back into the team for a Bournemouth home fixture, which is very good from defensive as well as attacking point of view. And Brighton could maybe get their first clean sheet of the season. So Estupinian's a hold. But coming to the Newcastle double defense, I think one Newcastle defender is a viable option. At least one Newcastle defender is a viable option because they have kept a good clean sheet against Brentford. Their defensive stats are great, and finally they are returning the points. And they have Sheffield United away and Burnley at home in the next two fixtures. Two not very attacking sides, and Newcastle are a solid defensive team. The only thing which we have been discussing about around Newcastle is Europe, and they have a very difficult group. Say they will be playing AC Milan now, and between the two Premier League fixtures, they play Man City in the Carabao Cup, where we might see rotation, but you never know. But I think their defense doesn't have the depth. Share and Botman are pretty much first choice, very important for the team, and Trippier is someone who could have alternatives in Livramento and maybe Lewis Hall plays on the left hand side, and there are alternatives for Trippier, but he is also a very important player in the team. So I'm not sure if there will be a lot of rotation, especially in the Premier League. Now they've got back their rhythm, and defensively, I don't think there'll be too many rotations in the Premier League. So I think all three are good to go options. But I'd say wait and watch the AC Milan game, which happens later today, at the time of recording later today, where we would be seeing what kind of rotations Deserby does make, and that could give a hint on who's probably going to start in the weekend. But I feel like the two centre backs are very important for the team to not start, even though it's a fairly straightforward fixture. So I think if you have Chilwell, to sum up, if you have Chilwell, maybe look to transferring him out for either of the Newcastle defenders. I think all three are decent options. I'd probably go with uh, Trippier first, and then Botman, and then Share. But either way could work out. So that's with the Newcastle defenders. Coming to the next question, which is about the midfielders, and this is a week like it's a season where we've been talking about an abundant list of midfielders, and all of them good enough. And this is a week where none of them return. None of Son, Bruno, Madison, Rashford, Mbumo, or none of them returned. Foden, only probably Salah was the one who returned. So this was a week where a lot of people will probably want to move some of them out, and it's fair to get Mbumo in your team even this late after. I think still the ship hasn't sailed because he has two good fixtures: Everton at home and Nottingham Forest away, and then wildcard is in the horizon. So even for a very short term move, Mbumo does look like a good option, and if if you want, if you think that he will be scoring points, then don't look at the ownership. I think that maybe you should go for him. And whom to sell? That's the question. Uh, Madison has Arsenal away and Liverpool at home in the next 2 weeks, and he's someone I am personally looking to sell. I think Son will be more suited in these games where the other opponent play highline, and I'm not saying Madison won't return, but Mbumo has two much better fixtures where you could see him get a couple of returns. So that's a good. I think that's a very viable transfer this week. And the other two midfielders, Foden and Bruno. I'm also looking at a scenario where I might be removing Foden instead of Madison for Mbomo. That is to bring in someone like Alvarez, who's been much more central, much more attacking, much more among the points as well than Foden. And if I have a triple city, so if I need to bring in Alvarez, I need to remove either Foden or Guardiola. So in that case, I probably might be removing Foden. If not, Nottingham Forest at home is a very good fixture to hold Foden. So I don't see the sideway move being as viable as other moves. And Bruno's again, I mean, we have been very disappointed from a United midfield point of view, and Bruno has returned one game week out of five. Um, but Burnley away, yeah, that's a very, I feel like a fixture where United could bounce back, and we've been saying this for week after week. But again, Burnley is not a fixture. I wish you could remove any of these people. And Rashford is someone I definitely say hold because he looked lively against Brighton. He probably should have gotten a return or two. So Rashford surely hold. Bruno maybe a sell, but I'd say still hold him because Burnley away is a fixture where he could sure maybe return easily. So that's where I am with these midfielders. I'd say Mbumo you can buy him for Madison, but not too many of the other players. And the other question is the Alvarez. Alvarez has been superb. Last 2 weeks he's got 23 points, and Jackson was the alternative which people went to, got a whole total of 2 points. So, um, yeah, I feel like Alvarez is being very central for City, and other than Haaland, and Guardiola also spoke up about Alvarez, and which could see that Alvarez is a main player in the team in the absence of Kevin De Bruyne. He's been taking set pieces, he's been creating chances, he's been taking some shots in the box, and yeah, pretty much a great option aside of Haaland coming at just 6.8, and it's a viable option to double up on City attack, City forwards. And yeah, I feel like Alvarez is the move to go. Even though UCL is starting, UCL is obviously a question, but there are some points to note. One is the group in the UCL is somewhere is where City should probably comfortably go through, and they have good fixtures in the CL where they can rotate, and they have quite a few options. They have Bernardo Silva, they have Alvarez, they have Foden, they have Doku, they have Grealish who probably will come back. So they have quite a few options, and Alvarez could see rest over there. But in the Premier League, I don't see him at this moment. He's missed only 1 minute. He's almost played all 90 or in all the 5 games so far, and I think he'll continue to play because he becomes a very important player in the way City plays. So I think for the next two fixtures, Nottingham Forest at home and Wolves away, I think he looks good to start, and he looks good to get into most of our teams, and he might soon become a very template pick. And the other factor which I've been mentioning again and again is the team leagues, and City do play the first fixture in game week 6, so you might get the team leagues where Alvarez would be starting, and in that case, I'd just jump right into Alvarez and probably even sell Jackson. And I think like it's probably time to sell Jackson. He's not looking good. He's not looking confident. He has been getting the chances, but Aston Villa at home, I think again is not a very straightforward fixture for Chelsea, and Nottingham Forest at home is somewhere City will score 4 or 5 goals. So that's where I am with Alvarez, and I think you probably should buy him, even though CL is a consideration. But wait till the team news to buy him. Um, Now let's look at the next question, which is how to get out of Chelsea triple up, United double up situation. That's a very tricky situation to be in, and if you have two free transfers, it will look tempting to remove at least one or two of them. And the two players I think that look close to be removed out of the five players. I mean, majority of the teams have five. players from Chelsea and United, which is Jackson, Sterling, Chilwell, Bruno, and Rashford. And I'd say Jackson and Chilwell stand right in the top to be removed from Chelsea and United. And I think it could be time to move away from Chilwell because there are Newcastle defenders who are putting up their hands, and Jackson because there's Alvarez who's putting up his hand. And they have good fixtures coming up in the next 2 weeks, so I don't mind moving away. But Sterling is someone I probably hold on. He looked lively still, and he still might be on penalties. And I mean, Sterling to Mbumo does look like a decent move as well if you don't have Jackson or a Chilwell. But if you do have a triple Chelsea, I'd say Sterling is the one to hold, and the other two are probably the players to move because Jackson could also lose his minutes eventually, and he doesn't look confident. And Sterling is looks somewhat more confident than the others. He hit the post. He almost should have scored against Bournemouth. Hit the inside of the post with a free kick, the inside of the bar with a free kick, which almost went in. So Sterling still looks lively. He might reward you in the next couple of weeks. So he might be the one I'd be holding if I had all three. And United assets again, as I mentioned before, I'd probably hold them for the Burnley away fixture and then assess in the next fixture because alternatives in Spurs mid don't look great. Maybe Mbumo, but if you want to fund move elsewhere, but I'd still say hold them for this week and then assess them, especially Rashford. Bruno might be the one who you would probably want to sell ahead, but I'd say hold the United mids and address the issues in the Chelsea assets, in mainly Jackson and Chilwell. So my order of removing players would be first Chilwell, then Jackson, then either Sterling or Bruno, and then Rashford. Rashford is looks more certain to be a hold this week if you have all these five players. And if you have two free transfers and a bad game week 5, would you consider using both or still can do with one? So first of all, I'd like to address the bad game week 5 part because I feel like you will be having bad game weeks every now and then, and that shouldn't necessarily be uh, the reason why you'll need to use your transfers. Even I mean, I'm also open to taking a hit this week, but that's not because of the bad game. That's to address the future game because what's done is done. And we do have fixtures in front of us, and Brentford have Everton at home, Brighton have Bournemouth at home. So I feel like players like Mbumo, Mitoma are players to hold, and Mbumo is a player who I'd be looking to buy as well. And with again with Man City, they have Nottingham Forest at home. And on the other hand, Spurs have Arsenal away, Chelsea have Aston Villa at home, which are quite tricky fixtures where you might want to remove any of these. Like Arsenal have Tottenham at home. Martinelli is someone I'd like to bring on as well, who got injured, and they are players who you could probably move. And there are issues around with Jackson, with Chilwell, with Martinelli, with maybe Son, Madison, where there are either they are out of the team or there are alternate viable option with better fixtures. So it does look like a window game week 6, game week 7 where you could use two of your transfers, or even maybe a hit might pay off because Newcastle also have good fixtures. So yeah, so I'd say look at your team. It's very team dependent, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you had a bad game week 5. You still have players who are good enough for the next two fixtures. Hold them, and if you don't have priority transfers, uh, then I'd say even one transfer you can still do with one transfer. But if there are issues that need to be addressed and fixtures that need to be chased in front, then maybe using both the free transfers does look like a good option. I just pull up the fixture ticker just before that, and you have. You have Newcastle as have Sheffield United away, Burnley at home next 2 game weeks. Brentford have Everton at home, Nottingham Forest away. Man United have Burnley at home, Crystal Palace at home, Burnley away, Crystal Palace at home, and also Man City have a couple of good fixtures as well with Nottingham Forest at home and Wolves away. And these are teams with good teams with good fixtures. So I feel like other than United, the other team assets probably be a hold. Isak is someone who might be a sell because Wilson is one who probably would start the Premier League, but I'd stay away from that. Maybe Isak to an Alvarez is a good punt. But other than that, I'd say hold these assets for this game week. But if there are other issues, as I mentioned before, please go ahead and sell these assets. So we'll come for the final question in our video, which is the goalkeeper questions. And we have had quite a disappointing season from a goalkeeper point of view so far. Johnston, Pickford, Onana, Ramsdale have all been quite not so good. And Turner, when he's called upon twice, has also not kept clean sheets. So it doesn't look great. And three of these players in on the screen, Turner, Ramsdale, and Johnston, uh, might have a minute's risk as well. Turner has Odysseus who's waiting to start as soon as next game week, and but Turner has looked good, but there have been forums which say that Odysseus probably is the number one choice. And same with Ramsdale, he has Raya in his goal when Raya started against Everton, and that could be frustrating for Ramsdale owners because that was a good fixture. They kept the clean sheet. And that's it. I mean, with CL, I think there will be a lot of rotation in the goal for Arsenal, and that's what they are looking to do. Uh, and Ramsdale is still a good keeper, but I don't think he'll be starting every other game week because Raya is a good keeper as well. And same with Johnston, he has Henderson hitting the door and could lose his place at any point of time. And yeah, that doesn't look great for any of these players. But when it comes to transferring, um, I'd probably, if I have no other transfer to make, I'd probably use it. But my personal team has a lot of transfers to make. Has Chilwell, has Jackson to be addressed, and some teams have Martinelli, maybe Madison, who have difficult fixtures or are injured or are out of favor in their team, and there are points to be taken in alternative options over there. But there are not too many points to be taken from a goalkeeper point of view. So who do you go to? I think I mean, Flecken has not been keeping clean sheets that often. So is Pickford, and yeah, it doesn't like Areola also has a difficult fixture of Liverpool this week. So it doesn't look like there's an obvious option. There's no upside. So I'd still hold and expect one of these keepers to start, even if it's Turner against Man City away. I'd still hope he might get a couple of points through saves, which I think he's been doing decently this year. So I'd say that goalkeeper transfer is not a priority, and there's not much upside, and you should wait for your wild card to remove your goalkeeper. And when you're getting your goalkeeper in the wild card, I think maybe you should probably look at which goalkeeper is certain to start and make that decision and not take 50-50s where goalkeepers are prone for rotation. So that's where I stand, and try to hold your goalkeeper transfer and use it in the wild card. So that's about it from today's video. And if you did like the video, please hit the like button and hit subscribe. We are looking to get more subscribers for us to get more videos in, and we will be coming with a game week preview in the coming days. And please let us know in the comments what you think about the questions, and if you have any other questions that need to be answered that we missed out on, please get it, and we try to answer it in the preview. Thank you so much.